Good morning. Welcome to the Essential Ingredients. This is Justine, and I'm so glad to be here with you today. This morning, I have Thuong Tan, who is the founder of Noodelist. This is her second career. She started this because she has a passion for noodles. She went back to school to get her MBA, and when she did, there was nothing else she could imagine doing than building a better for you instant noodle solution. I don't know about you, but I used to love instant noodles, the ones that came in the styrofoam container, the ones with all the MSG and all the flavor. And it would literally take 3 to 5 minutes. So her new solution is a better for you solution. Gluten-free, vegan, vegetarian, all sorts of better for you ways to eat the instant noodles, including not in a styrofoam cup. So you're going to want to stay tuned for this. Can't wait to speak with you here and hear from Thuong Tan about the Noodleist. Before we go on, and before I just ooh and ah over my new favorite plant-based noodle soup, I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself and talk a little bit about the mission behind Noodelist and what inspired you to start this plant-based instant noodle soup.
Well, thank you, Justin, and your amazing audience for having me to this podcast. So, my name is Thuong Tan. That's a Vietnamese name, half Chinese, who grew up in Finland. So, the personal passion was that I always say started with that I'm an Asian born who can't live without rice, and I grew up in Finland where the starch is potatoes. I'm not big a fan of potatoes either. And I've been in Silicon Valley for 20 years where my friends go out for burritos and tacos. I'm like, not that fan either. What do I eat and love? Noodles. I've always been a noodle girl. Spoiled by my mom's homemade Vietnamese noodle soup. And I move out early because I'm enthusiastic for international studies and travel. And I don't cook. So my go-to since I was eight, no, of course, I start learning to cook snacks, instant noodle when I was eight. But I didn't cook, so my go-to noodles were instant noodles. And yeah, so yeah, that's your quick one. But then 10 years ago, I did my MBA in luxury branding. That happened in Shanghai. And I got a light bulb coming up when there was a marketing project that do something with the 7P of your favorite products, of course, instant noodles. What really amazed me was 100 billions, I think it's more now, of servings of instant noodles are consumed every year globally. 100 billion. And then I went back to the shelves and did a quick still like benchmarking. They're all the same brands. I mean the level, the same, lots of brands, but they were not. I'm in Silicon Valley, San Francisco. Everything it's I say the premiumified or healthified version of it, but not instant noodle, which everybody knows and loves. So I thought, maybe there's a niche for better for you instant noodles. And I'm 40 something, and my friends have teenage age kids that love instant noodles, but my friends wouldn't buy them the traditional that's out there because the moms, being a good mom and dad, high sodium, low nutrition, it's no way. So that was my first spark. Yes, there's a need for better for you. And growing up in Finland, where we are very good with recycling and sustainable, and so mission was make something healthier with the sustainable packaging. And my personal mission is life is too short for a plant tasting food. So, not healthy is not. It has to be tasty as well.
I mean, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
And I remember as a kid, when you don't know how to cook and all you know how to do is like heat up water, right? How
Hmm.
easy were those oodles noodles? And then
Hmm.
as you got older and you're in college, right? You're like, oh, these are so cheap. I can buy these by the dozens. What were they
I
like,
know.
99
Yeah.
cents or something forever
Mhm.
ago?
Yeah.
But there was a lot of salt, and there was, as you were saying, and a lot of different things. And if I remember correctly, originally the packaging was styrofoam.
It is.
It
Well, that
is.
was amazing invention back in the days. How the Japanese got American audience to eat instant noodles is the convenience.
Right.
So hats off to the innovation of instant noodle to begin with. That's a 5 minute thing, and then the cup to go. But then these days, oh no, styrofoam is so bad.
So bad. Yeah. So it sounds like, your roots run pretty deep into being better for you and sustainable, part of like the ethos of who you were growing up. So it sounds like you've really aligned that with this. So when you started to do this, it sounded like you were in business school and this came out of that. Were you thinking about what should you start? Were you sort of in a place where you're like, okay, it's time for me. I want to kick off a new business?
Well, that too. I'm not a traditional, like, to say entrepreneur because I really love the job that I just took a year off to do MBA. And being in Silicon Valley, you're very inspired. There's everybody has their own startup and idea. And if I would do something, it has to be something that I could wake up every day. So it has to be food. And I love branding, I love marketing, I love creating an actual product. And I don't code. Being in Silicon Valley, everybody's coding, so I'm not geeks, but I love the food and I love the branding, and I always admire at the store I go the packaging and the name of it. So I'm like, yes, I'm gonna create something that I love, my friends love, because it's not you have to wake up even in the bad days to run your product. Started, I was 40 already, so it's now or never. And I thought I was very comfortable. I really love the job. Why would I do this and risk? But then you think back, what do you have to lose? Money? And I can go back to work. But I would always regret if I didn't try.
That's amazing because, so many people are scared to take the leap. I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast the other day, and she was talking about when she had listened to, I think, some other podcast, and Jeff Bezos, I think that she was quoting that said, really, if you look back, you know, when you're 80, are you going to say you're upset because you didn't take the risk or because you did take the risk? Odds are it's because you didn't. You're never going to be upset that you took the risk. To be upset with the risks you didn't take. And I thought that was really true. I mean, for entrepreneurs, it almost seems like settling to not be able to pull through what you want. Like if it's to be better in the world, if it's to make an impact both on health, wellness, or the planet, not being able to do that, I think is really soul. It kills the soul a little, right?
Yeah,
It doesn't
I
get
look
you up
back.
in the
If I had
morning.
any more inspiration when I was in the 20s and just somebody just inspire me, or just do it back then, I should have done 20 years ago. So whoever I'm talking, younger generation that are 20s, I just say go do it. You will learn so much. Failing is learning, and you get so much experience. So just do it. Just what can go wrong if you're willing to do it and you have that mindset. I think the universe can align with you and your support network, and it will go well one way or another.
I think it's about drive too, right? Drive, ambition,
Mm.
and some you really need to have a lot of follow through,
Yeah.
I think, right? So if you have an idea, which you did,
Mm.
I mean, you were just going through your MBA, so it really
Yes.
supported your
Okay.
idea and next steps. But there's many people out there that don't have that. So what do you say, like from having your MBA, did it put you in a different place, a different mindset to be able to take this leap of faith?
It did give me a framework. The example of I actually went to learn how do you luxuryify, premiumify a product, because my previous career was to help Finnish companies to enter the US market. We have amazing product, amazing services, but we didn't know how to package it. So I went to learn that, and not knowing that I got that framework and inspiration to do something that I love to eat daily to make it a next level product. So yeah, that was definitely an inspiration.
And where would
So,
the inspiration from the plant-based come from?
my food scientist, since I'm not from the industry, all I know from the food is I love eating. Do you know what was the CPG stand for? Consumer packaged good. And so when we were creating our soup base, two flavors, as I said before, first and foremost is the taste. And my food scientist was like, how about plant based? What do you mean by plant based? You mean vegan? He was like, no, if your mission is to trying to be more better for the planet and sustainability, let's try to make something not with an animal. So you mean we're making a chicken flavor without chicken? I was this skeptic, but I'm like, go for it. Let's do a first MVP, and we did a round of blind tasting with the different customer group, and they didn't know that they were eating a soup, chicken is soup base without harming a chicken. So I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. And that was 5 years ago. It was plant-based wasn't a mainstream word yet. Target or Walmart, they didn't have like plant-based category or section. So we're happy that we went for that name.
Well, by the way, just to talk about your marketing and your branding, it's beautiful.
Thank you,
And it
thank
sounded
you.
like that was a big part of, your skill set. So I just wanted to, I was looking at the website and all the photography and everything. It's just beautiful. Did you do all that?
Yes, that's my third. So Noodles are like Asian inspired, Silicon Valley mindset, and with the Nordic design, meaning the simplicity. So the branding and marketing behind it, look and feel is father and son, Renne and Henrik Angelvor from Win Win Design.
That's really lovely. So when you kicked off this company, you were in business school and you were talking to friends and you came up with this idea and you had a background in the luxury market in branding and design. So kicking off a new business and being an entrepreneur, you need to tap into so many different skills. So, what was that like pivoting from being an employee to being an entrepreneur?
Yes, I was actually from a government employee, so very comfortable, very fun, and good job. And then you jump out of that comfort zone. So I just quit because it's a government job. I couldn't do it on the side. So I quit and spent the first few months mingling with this new network of the consumer packaged good to learn how it is working, find and learn from the industry, and just ask people help. Just open my mind. But the news that that was my skill set. I'm good with people. I'm good for asking help or hustling around how to find out something I don't know about, and just pure amazing network and people supporting and believing in you that's been helping me to get one step at a time. If I go back, I didn't know any part of it. I didn't even know it's called corrugated box or what's co-packing about this. So everything learned by doing thanks to COVID.
As an entrepreneur and going through the process, maybe you can share a couple lessons that, while they might have taken you down the wrong path, were important lessons to get you where you were today.
I was a solo founder, but then I was lucky to find a business partner the second year. So I would say it's super lonely, being an entrepreneur. So having a co-founder, a partner, the day one would be I would start with that. But I was too enthusiastic and too like, okay, I have this idea and I know how to do. I think I knew how to do, so I just went and do it. But having a co-founder, a partner from the day one helps you a lot to share. And I would have had a bit more patience to raise a bit more of angel funding before jumping out of the plane and opening the parachute, like one of my angel investors was saying. But I don't know, wouldn't do anything. I would just encourage people to go and start doing, because you will figure out on the way. Because you never be 100%. There's never enough money. There's never enough knowledge, and I think it's enough what you know, what you have at that moment. It's actually more than anybody would think of you're capable of, and
What made you decide to go after angel funding?
um angel funding, well, I just had an idea. I was 40, and people knew the way I as a person, the way I work. People believe in me. That was actually helping me to kick started earlier. Actually, they were giving me the trust to kick off. I actually pondered about this idea for 4 years before I
Wow.
jumped on it after the MBA school. So I think it's their trust and encouragement that, hey, I'm writing you a check. Why don't you do it early? I'm like, wait a minute. I can't do it. I have a government job. I need to quit that first and clean and slate and start it. So that was it, friends and family. And I wouldn't say the third F is not full. It's like fantastic friends, I would call them. And that helped. And then when one was writing a check, the other just follow. And I was so lucky to kickstart. Oh, and people love this, and it's not a gimmick. We had a wedding party with my husband after like 15 years together. So I'm Asian, so we got a lot of money. Like we didn't need any gift, so people were giving us money to our honeymoon fund. Guess what happened to that honeymoon fund?
It
I
became
put
your
in a
Noodleist
Noodles.
fund. That was your Noodleist fund.
I put in and invest in Noodles. So that was the thing as well. Okay, she's serious. She's putting it all in. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. So now that you've had this a little behind you a little bit and you're growing the business,
Hmm.
talk to me a little bit about that process when you had the product and you're like, okay, I want to go get it in front of people and I want to be able to sell this. What was that like for you?
Hard. So I actually pivoted before I even able to launch because my original vision was to go to market was tech cafeterias, these big companies that are already offering free snacks with a single cup. COVID hit, everybody stay home, so that's how we pivoted into this four meals, and it was D2C. Well, during COVID, I just drove around the Bay Area and delivered directly from my Mini Cooper. That's how I learned the most. And then learning from the industry. Oh, there's a wholesale. You need to have a broker, and then a broker gets you to the distributor, and all kinds of different channels. And then the channels that I envision to the corporate. That's called food service. You're learning so many categories, and you're small, you're limited budget. You can't go all over, the, which is the so like a mistake that I did. Oh, there, kind of like a shiny object dilemma that entrepreneurs are having. If I go back, the learning is just focusing on one very narrow one customer group. I had two, but still, uh, uh, focusing on just one and just choose your one channel and just put all in on that.
Yeah, I think it's amazing. And so, what was the response when you were bringing it to stores in the beginning?
Um, good and bad because instant noodles is engraved in consumers' minds 99 cents, and we are $4 a meal. So if I have known this is so engraved in people's psychology, it's fine to go out and pay $6, $7 for an iced latte, but then you shy about $4 instant noodle, which is all the local, organic ingredients. We work with local businesses, family owned and even female owned if possible. All of this that I'm doing it made in America. Indians, people, consumers say one thing, I understand, and then you act the other way because of the pricing. So that is the thing. Of course, this will scale and the actual pricing will go down, the economy will scale, but it's you need a lot of work and sell a lot more and get more of these. We have amazing customer groups that's supporting us, but we need more in order to.
So as you evolve, are you
Mhm.
hoping to see that price drop with the with larger quantities and everything?
Definitely, and then also seeing this to grow in totally different channel. Um,
Yeah, talk to me.
something
Tell me what kind of channel?
I'm thinking more like if you go to the sport game, you always the same pizza and pasta or Disneyland where people actually have a certain budget to eat. Uh, I'm thinking of those sort of like entertainment audience that you go somewhere that they have some other options. I just came back with South America. They have this instant noodle stand, like a cafe, like a pop up. That I was like, you have these salt and store ice cream places. Imagine there would be an instant noodle or just a savory. I'm a savory snack girl. If I need something snack, it's a savory. Like Asia has a lots of this like street food stand. I would see something totally different like that.
And you know what I was also thinking as you're sitting here talking about this, I'm thinking about
Mm.
nursing homes, I'm thinking about hospitals, I'm
Yeah.
thinking about places like that where traditionally the food needs to be healthy but hasn't been very tasty.
Oh, good that you remind me. Schools that I just want to sell this is, but because the schools of Finland and Europe, we have free school food, and I think state of California has changed route that you have to offer. I would like to be able to provide, or actually have I just want kids to have healthy option during school lunch besides pizza and whatnot.
And so, as you're thinking about that, what are some of the criteria that you might consider as you go and you determine what your next channel will be?
Then go back to the mission. Do I want to have this as many people to enjoy it as possible? and forget about the branding and the name and the fun part. I would go for the, as you say, for the nursing homes, and to be able to provide it for the bigger audience and actually for good, and kids, to grow up with healthier. You need to have them to know the healthier versions when they are younger, so they get that habit. So I think that would be the mission that's close, the actual close to my heart.
Awesome. Thuong, I've learned so much. I'm so inspired by what you've done and how you've created this product. I mean, giving up a job to then pursue something that you were passionate about that is better for you and better for the planet in of itself is inspiring. And then to start a business when you haven't been an entrepreneur in the past can be scary. And like you said, even lonely. So I think some of those things that you shared, which is, getting a co-founder or bringing somebody on as a partner can really help share the burden and make it a little less lonely. Um, and learning who your audience is are some great tips that you've shared with this audience. And just before we go, I'm wondering if there were three things that you wanted to tell the audience that we're building better for you products in the CPG world. What are three things that you think they should consider?
I don't want to say it's super hard. Don't go for it, because it's full of big players. And now when I look back, it's very hard for the small one to go up with this attribute, because the fact is it's dominated by big players. What I really want to see changing in the industry for real is the reducing of the palm oil. I think those should be regulated. That really, I'm not. I don't think we need another brand to the category. I think we need to changing in with the current offering within the food and drinks industry, like less sugar, less fat, really making it more healthier with the current offering out there. I think we have much more things to do in that than creating. It's going to be fun creating another drinks, creating another food line, but I think the bigger problem and what needs to be changed is really tapping into the sustainability, like less packaging. Seriously, you don't need to have super many around of packaging, and the use of palm oil, like no
Sean,
banning.
thank you so much. For those folks interested in getting Noodleist, where might they be able to find it?
uh 28 is do not buy from the big corporates, so go for the small business. Please go directly to our website, noodles.com. Use the promo code happiness when you check out, and Goodex have us as well. And our website have a list of stores that you can find us as well. If you want to support a fellow small local business during this time, that would be awesome.
Awesome. We will, I will support you, and we're excited for everyone to hear your journey. It's really inspiring, and you've done such a beautiful job with the product, both in design as well as in taste. And it really does show you that you can build something that's better for you and that's tastier too. So thank you so much for joining us today. And I want to thank our guests and everyone that tunes in each week to be part of the Essential Ingredients community. It's so meaningful to me. And I want to thank Thuong for joining me today to share with me a little bit about her journey and what it was like to build a business as a second career and create a better for you solution. So again, thank you, Thuong, for tuning in with us today and sharing your story. And I want to thank our guests. For those of you that tune into the podcast, don't forget we also have a video cast available on YouTube. And for those that are watching the video cast, don't forget you can get the podcast when you're on the go from wherever you listen to your podcast at Essential Ingredients. So we look forward to hearing from you, and don't forget to reach out and let us know what else we can bring to the table for you on the Essential Ingredients podcast. Thanks again.